Here we are in old Denmark at the famous mead hall, Herot. Herot was built by King Hrothgar and his people with the goal of being the tallest mead hall in history. It would be the closest one could get to the heavens, and it would be a place set to celebrate fame, good warriors, and hold power and success. The walls were made to withstand any storms or troubles. It represented their strength.
I ordered this to be built to make our nation known, for a piece of our celebration, for me and my people. I intended it for it to be a wonder of the world, a place where people from far and wide can come together to worship our Lord, a place of glory for me to give out a treasure to my loyal thanes.
As wonderful as all of this sounds, Herot was not without his troubles. There is a beast, the descendant of the treacherous Cain, who haunts the hall. His name is Grendel, and he comes to the hall each night to devour the men who sleep there.
For many years, my people have suffered at the hands of this God-cursed monster. There is only someone who could help us.
Ah, but there is, and his name is Beowulf. Soon he shall arrive at Herot and fill Hrothgar's request, achieving well-deserved glory and fame along.
Now I prepare for this battle at Hrothgar's request. I've traveled far to be here. I knew that once I heard of Grendel's horror which he was causing, I will never have to rest until his death. However, if I am to become a match of this beast, I must enter the battle single combat without weapons or chainmail. I want this to be a fair fight. I have already battled 5 sea beasts, raided the nest of a troll living in the night ocean, slain sea brutes, and avenged the Yeats. Grendel does not stand a chance. I trust in the Lord's plan. Either I will proudly fulfill my request, or perish here in the great mead hall.
Who is this? Does he think that he will defeat me? What a fool. I will take him back in my pouch, and me and my mother will have a wonderful dinner.
I am Beowulf, the greatest warrior of all. I have come to defeat you.
Curse you, Beowulf! My death shall not go unavenged.
Praise the good Lord, for he has brought me victory. Now I can say I've fulfilled my vow, and I give Grendel's arm to prove it.
As I serve this mead to Hrothgar and these men, I'd like to make a toast to Beowulf. You are such a great warrior. Thank you so much for all you've done for our people. You defeated Grendel and you saved our nation, and we'd like to thank you for your strength and braveness. We extend many jewels and gifts to you and lots of treasure to honor you as the great warrior that you are.
I have achieved greatness with my victory over Grendel. There was a great victory feast in my honor. At this feast, I received the gift of gold standard, chainmail, a helmet, an embroidered banner, and a sword, as tokens of my victory. Gifts were also given to my thanes. There were many stories as well. There was the story of Finn, a wonderful representation of how peace brides never work, how they only lead to worsening conflict. Then there was the tale of Sigmund and Heremond. As a newly famous hero, the next steps I take and the name I establish for myself are highly important. This story was told to illustrate all I could become. I could be a great warrior like the dragon slayer Sigmund, or shameful, evil, and betrayed as King Heremond did. My fate is in my hands. All seemed well until another threat emerged. By killing Grendel, I started a blood feud. Grendel's mother, the wicked creature, entering Herot. Therefore, Hrothgar called upon me, the mighty Beowulf, to avenge his death. So, I traveled here to the beast's lair, and now I will enter the fight to the death.
aware that a young hero, Beowulf, wishes to fight me. I have done nothing wrong. I only avenged my son's murder, as anyone involved in a blood feud would. But it does not matter. He is no match for me. He believes he will defeat me using Hrunting, the famed blade which has yet to let a warrior down in battle. However, it shall fail him today.
Your time is almost up. I have almost claimed my victory.
Dear God, if it be your will, please help me win this battle. I trust the plan you have laid out for me.
Long ago, a slave stumbled across a tower with treasures galore from old warriors who had since passed away. A dragon slept, guarding the golden jewels, had been protecting them for hundreds of years after finding the unsupervised tower in the night. On this day, it was nighttime, and the dragon guarding the jewels was asleep. The slave took a jewel cup to buy his freedom from his abusive master. When the dragon awoke, found it gone, and saw a thief's footprints instead, it was furious and began plotting its revenge. It went in the night, scorched the village, and terrorizing the people.
I will save these people. I have defeated many beasts and monsters in my time, and I will not stop now. I have no fears. I have fought more challenging battles. I am the strongest man in this land, and no one is more fit for the task than I. I fight to honor my kinsmen before me who have lost in battle. The brave warriors to our enemies. I shall gather my thanes to fight alongside me should I need assistance.
Beowulf, the great warrior, had defeated many opponents throughout his life. He now flights and boasts an Anglo-Saxon tradition to enhance the fame and honor the courage of the fighters before going into battle. Now the battle! As Beowulf arrives at the tower to take on the dragon, the thanes saw the flames pouring from the beast's mouth and fled. Only Wiglaf remained.
Alas, fate is against me. I must finish this fight. No! I am in the face of death, and only Wiglaf remains. He knows what true kinship means.
I will not leave your side, honorable Beowulf. You must be strong now. Finish your legacy. I will use my sword to protect your fame and defeat this monster.
Thank the Father in heaven for my treasures, strength, and many victories in battle. It is my time. Shower me with the jewels, so I may die an honored man. Wiglaf, lead my people.
Beowulf gave Wiglaf his dying wishes, and just like that, the great warrior was gone.
Tears still burning the young warrior's eyes, Wiglaf continues to try and bring Beowulf back to
Beowulf,
life.
come back! No!
To no avail. The 10 cowardly warriors return to the grave scene.
How could you all leave our king in his moment of need? Each and every one of you swore an oath to this man, and you have utterly disgraced it today. Look at him! He was the king, our hero. He showered you all in the riches the greatest thane might want, and you left him to die. Now attack is inevitable. Those who hid in fear of our great warrior king will view us as an easy target. I expect our blood feud with the Swedes to renew, bloodier than ever. The Franks and the Frisians will take this opportunity to expand their territory. This is not good.
After the death of the great King Beowulf, his people went into a state of frenzy. Without their fearless leader, rumors of attack and destruction swirled amongst the loyal Geats.
Come to me, my fellow countrymen. We must carry out the final wishes of our great master. In his final words, our hero told us to give him a funeral pyre worthy of a great warrior king. In his final wish, he asked to erect a great monument, a testament to his illustrious life.
And so they went, a band of mourners fulfilling the last orders of their great leader. A great pyre was built for the famous warrior, filled with all the helmets, the shields, and shining armor the king had requested. And so Beowulf was given one last send-off, his loyal followers watching in awe at his hot bone house. Tears aplenty, Geats mourned their great leader, remembering the great days under his leadership, thinking of the great tales Shopes would tell for years to come of their famed ring-giver. For the 10 days that followed, the Geats worked tirelessly to give their leader his final wish. Up on the highest cliffs overlooking the everlasting sea, a great monument was erected for a great warrior, a place fit for a king. For the many years that followed, the great Beowulf's barrow looked out across the vast Geat coast, a reminder to all those who passed of the famous ring-giver, the destroyer of the greatest evils.
So Wiglaf, I'm going to cut right to the chase. What drove you to be so loyal to your king?
Thanes must remain loyal to their kings no matter what. Thanes must die for their kings. Additionally, good Thanes are rewarded with riches and wealth for their service. Therefore, I think the real question is, why wouldn't I stay with Beowulf? So, as a Thane, I must always be loyal to my king. And since Beowulf was my king, by staying with him till the end and fighting for him and staying with him until he died, I was fulfilling my duty of loyalty to my king, the great warrior Beowulf.
Wow, that is certainly quite a response. Moving on, seeing as you loved Beowulf so much, can you tell us a little about how your great king was a model example of a hero?
I don't know where to begin. For starters, he was the symbol of good in, I'd say, all of our lives. He always prevailed when faced with evil, as seen in his battles with Grendel, Grendel's mother, and the dragon. Since although he died fighting the dragon, he still killed his foe and therefore defeated evil. Building off of that, he also traveled the world in the pursuit of glory. The prime example of this is his quest to get to Heorot from Geatland to fight Grendel. Lastly, he never had an emotional connection to his followers, which is a true sign of his strength. Although many adored him, he never stooped to their level, showing his greatness and superiority to all of them.
Another great response. Well, that's all from Wiglaf tonight, folks. On to the next interview. My first and most important question is about your comitatus. Can you first explain the term to me?
That's a really good question. So, comitatus is the Germanic code of loyalty that is incredibly prominent in the Anglo-Saxon culture. It can be fulfilled through honoring loyal warriors with mead, jewels, toasts, feasts, treasures, and more. I fulfilled my queenly comitatus at Beowulf's honorary feast by being the one to serve the mead and initiate the toast and the celebration.
Interesting. Now I'm wondering, why was it your duty to fulfill your comitatus?
I'm glad you asked that, actually. As a woman, one of my primary responsibilities and roles in society is to fulfill comitatus by honoring great warriors like Beowulf through mead and preparing all the food before hosting the feasts. Women are not able to fight like the men are to serve their people. Instead, we have to serve by working in the palace or celebrating the men's accomplishments. This is our comitatus.
That's an intriguing stance for women to have to take in life. Thank you so much for sharing with us your comitatus and the role of women.
Anytime. Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate your willingness to participate in our show. Have a good night, Queen Bothell. Now, lastly, we'd like to interview the man, the myth, the legend, Beowulf himself. Well, his ghost.
Beowulf, I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here tonight. You and your co-stars have done an incredible job with this film. For the ladies and gentlemen watching at home, Beo now in theaters or streaming on all main streaming platforms. So, Beowulf, I want to hear what it was like working with King Hrothgar.
I'd just like to say how honored I am to be on the show with you tonight, Jimmy. I can't say I ever thought I'd make it here. I mean, what isn't there to say about Hrothgar? I was a haughty and naive young warrior, and without Hrothgar's advice, I would never have been where I am today, and I would have gone down the wrong path. Hrothgar once told me a story about Heremon, the great evil king, who turned against his people in favor of gold and refused his thanes the riches that they rightfully deserved. But then, when my future was bleak, he told me the great tale of the forever loved Sigmund. Famous for slaying the dragon, Hrothgar showed me that my word was destined to be like Sigmund and Hrothgar himself, and I'll always be grateful for him.
He sounds like an amazing mentor. Thank you for sharing, Beowulf. Next, I'd like to ask you about what it was like to fight Grendel and his mother, as well as the dragon.
Well, of course it was scary. The possibility of death is always a real threat in my line of work. However, when I was fighting Grendel and his mother, I knew that the great almighty God was on my side. So there was nothing on his earth that could possibly hurt me. I knew my time had come before the end when I fought that fire-breathing monster. I knew God was not on my side. Something I would have to accept, for it is my duty to follow his plan. And so I was defeated. With Ligloth by my side, I went into death with a sense of calm.
I'm sure that must have been hard for you, Beowulf. Thank you for sharing. To wrap up tonight's show, I want to talk about your legacy. Sure, everyone knows the famous name of the great Yayat warrior king, Beowulf. But what does your legacy mean to you?
Well, it's a great question, Jimmy. I spent my whole life trying to fit the perfect mold of an Anglo-Saxon hero, and I'm proud of the legacy I left behind. I proposed some of the most outlandish boasts in my life, some of which I definitely regret, but I always stayed true to my word. I'm proud of the work I did as King of the Yaots, and I would like to give a special thank you to my thanes, some of the best men and best warriors I've ever had the honor of working with. In Wiglaf, the most loyal of my thanes, and now the new King of the Yaots, I wish him well in his new position, and I'm sure he will flourish with my crown resting on his head.
Wow, thank you for being so open with us here tonight, Beowulf. I'm sure you have touched many of the hearts of our viewers at home. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and good night, everyone.